Krishna is an Advaitin. All throughout you can see that is how he started off like that. And he keeps on saying, I am only everything, everything is in me. Yet I am not in anything and nothing is in me. This is how he starts this chapter. And that's why he tells Arjuna, he wants to draw Arjuna's attention. What does he say? I am going to tell you a very, very big secret. When you know a secret, you want to share with whom? You want to share with your closest confidant. You want to share with your closest friend. And what is the secret? He says it is also a secret which is an open secret. Everybody knows it. In the sense, this is something that is experiential. It's not something that you cannot understand. It is dharmyam. It is what will put you on the righteous path. It is susukham. It is very easy. Though it's a very supreme secret, king of all knowledge, royal knowledge, they say. This uppermost, supreme-most knowledge. Yet it is very easy to understand, he tells to Arjuna. And you can experience this knowledge. It is not something which is beyond your comprehension. And finally he says, Kartum avyayam. Once you learn this, you will never forget it. This knowledge will always remain with you. And he hasn't shared with anybody. Krishna must be 89 years old by then. That's what the Shastras say. But he has not breathed out this secret to anybody so far. For the first time, he calls the closest, the dearest, the sweetest friend that he has in Arjuna. And he tells him here, I want to tell you something very, very important, very secretive. Because what he tells is Advaita philosophy. There is a way to understand Advaita which satisfies everybody. And that Advaita philosophy is what Sri Krishna is telling here when he says that I am the one permeating everything. I am in everything. Everything is in me. Yet I am not anything and nothing is me. Then he explains that what happens is that when you go in the night, when there is darkness, there is this rope lying on the road somewhere. Somebody dropped it. But from far when you see what happens to you, you get shocked. You feel that this is a snake. That happens many times. Immediately you pause and check whether it's snake or not. For that moment, now go back to that moment. You tell your friend, wait, there is a snake. But the friend says, is it really snake? Because it is not moving, it is steady, it is that way only. So they start analyzing. And then what happens? You go and throw some light on that. Your friend gets a torch and puts the light on that rope and realize, no, it is not a snake, it is only a rope. This happens to us. If it has not happened also, it may happen to you at some point in time. Or you another object, not rope, then something else, you will misunderstand as something else because of darkness. Now when you put light on that, it is the same rope, which is now totally known to you and you are no more afraid. Now can I say, when you thought there is a snake, the snake was in the rope. Can I say that? First instance was what? There was a snake over there. So I can say, without the rope, could you have seen that imaginary snake? Not possible. If there was no rope, you wouldn't have seen the snake at all. You saw the snake because the rope was lying there on the road. So you can say your imagination of snake was dependent on the existence of the rope on the ground. This is very clear? If there was no rope in the first place, where is the question of you seeing the snake? So the first thing Krishna says is that I am in all and everything is in me. How? Imagine Krishna to be the rope for now and everything else to be the snake. Now everything else is visible to us only because Krishna is there. The snake is visible to us only because rope is there. Is that clear? If I remove the rope, there is no snake also. You will simply walk your way without any fear. So you see this Jagat, the entire world, because of the power that Sri Krishna is or the consciousness is. So rope is equal to consciousness or God. Snake is equal to everything else in the world. All this world you experience because of God. But when you gain wisdom, you realize actually this world does not exist, only God exists. World is an illusion. It happened to appear to be existing just like the snake happened to appear to be existing. But if you think thoroughly and deeply, you will realize that there was no snake in the first place. Likewise, this Jagat is just an illusion, it does not exist. Now this is Advaita. It's very powerful but very difficult to accept. Because I can feel my hands, legs, everything. I am real. I can feel the table, chair and food and sleep. I am real. Any experience that we go through in life feels real. Your sadness is real. where happiness is real. My relations, my achievements, my failures, successes. How can you say all this did not exist? But let me ask you, when you imagine that snake was there, did you experience fear or not? Did you experience fear? Was that fear real? Real. You felt the fear in your heart. You stopped. You put, my God, there is a snake. But was it true fear? No. Once you know it, there was no snake, where's the fear? Likewise, we feel all emotions in the world. Sorrow, happiness, pleasures, pains, love, hatred, everything. Just like we felt the fear when we imagined there was a snake. The rope is absolutely peaceful. But if you imagine the rope is a snake, then how many attributes you can give to the snake? It's a poisonous snake, it's a rat snake, or it is a one particular species. Its color, you can imagine a color of that snake. You can imagine the intensity of its poisonousness. You can imagine the species that it comes from. And so many things you can imagine around that imaginary snake. Like that, this world, we are going on discussing this world on and on and on. Your problem, my problem, his sorrow, our happiness. But actually this world does not exist to us. Shankaracharya says it's an imagination. So Krishna says in the entire snake that you imagine, it is only the rope that exists. Like in the entire world you imagine, it is I, consciousness alone that exists. That is the first thing. Second, he says, world is in me. The snake is also in the rope, imaginary snake. But when you put on the torch, you realize there is no world. So he says, I am not in the world, and the world is not in me. The moment you put on the torch, I appear to be existing in the world appears to be existing in me, but the only truth is that I alone exist. That is the Advaita philosophy. The moment we put on the torch of Bhagavad Gita wisdom, and we realize there is only rope, there is only consciousness, only Krishna, the world is only an imagination, all our emotions also disappear. When you become aware of everything, snake is not in the rope, rope is not in the snake. Rope alone is, snake never was. This is Advaita Darshanam Jnanam, it is said. When you really, really know the truth of everything, there is only one left, there is no two. Why is that when we are all one, we end up behaving differently because of the ignorance? The one who knows it's only a rope behaves differently from the one who thinks it's a snake. It's because difficult to understand this knowledge, but a refined mind, a pure mind is able to understand it. That's why I tell, do selfless service so your mind becomes pure and refined. Do bhakti, upasana, meditation so your mind becomes steady. Then this wisdom becomes easier for you to understand.